everyone, it's Amy from So Let's Make a Bag and So Let's Be Quilty Studio here in Pentwater. So for all the people who have subscribed to the September box, Chic Trio, we are working on the Bella wallet. So here's what the Bella wallet looks like. So we are going to do some preparation of some of the zippers and get ready to get this part situated. Okay. So what we'll be using as far as tools go is in your box, you got this clover stiletto. So this will help us kind of really pushing down on the cork and kind of making sure it gets in there. And then we'll also be using the double-sided basting tape that was also in your box by Annie. And you'll need a pen of some sort. So I'm using the Frixion, and it's a black ink. And so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take our little zipper strip. You have 4 of them. We're going to mark a line right down the center. And then we're going to add those to our zipper. So we're kind of going to go over a couple things. We're going to use our basting tape. We're going to put that down here. And we are also going to, I'm going to give you a quick tutorial. If you don't already know how to put zipper pulls on, we're going to put some on and show you that. So this is 3/4. So we're going to do 3/8 and mark a line on all 4 of these. So see how I'm just lining up my 3/8 with that. Oh, I need a little bit more ink on that one. So we're marking on the back side. Just remember to do that. And then we are going to put that aside. Put that aside. And then we're going to take our little piece of tape. So in the instructions, it has you actually, you're going to sew it down, but we're just going to use the tape so we don't have two lines of stitching on here, which I think is cleaner looking. Okay, so we're going to put that piece on, finger press it, and then we're going to put the other side on as well. And we're going to go one side at a time. So this is a super sticky tape. Some people have had issues with it getting super sticky on their needle. If it makes your needle sticky, then make sure you kind of change your needle or wipe it off with a little alcohol wipe. And then let it dry completely before you start working with it again. But it's completely worth it because this helps so much. All right, so I'm going to take the one side of this off. And we're doing the small zipper first. So I trim that up so it's as neat as I can get it. That's even neater. So right side up, we're going to put that right in the center. Oh, I dropped it. Don't look at anything. Because it's a little bit messy. Okay. Okay, then we're going to take our other side off. my little container. And then I'm just going to match my edges. See, now I have a nice straight zipper pull. So when I put the stitch on there, it's going to be lovely. Okay. So then we're going to take, and I left myself a fairly long tail just so I can keep hold of it. You're not going to yank on it. You're just going to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Couple of stitches, then a couple of back stitches, and then use your stiletto to guide it and just go nice and slow. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and then I'm just going to trim these nice and even. Okay, so I have one side, and then I'm going to put my zipper pull on the other. So we're going to go over 2 ways to put a zipper pull on. So if you're getting any of the Sally Tomato zippers by the yard, she, at the beginning of her zippers, she has like this little kind of, it kind of lets you put this on and then put your pull on. You only get them at the beginning and at the end. So if you know how many zippers you're going to use for your project, I suggest you put them all on the zipper tape all at the same time and then space them out and trim them to size. So you're going to do what you do with other zippers. You're going to open it probably about 1 inch, and you're going to put one side on and then the other side on, and then it makes it really easy to make sure it's nice and even. And then you're just going to hold on to that end and make sure you get that going under, and then the zipper just goes on nicely. Okay, then you're going to trim this to the size you need, your finished size, and put your other tab on the other side. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll talk to you on the other side. Okay, so we have our first small outer zipper prepared. And now what we're going to do is we're going to prepare our PC. And that's going to become our front pocket. So we're going to work on the back side. And we are going to have our pen. So on the bottom of whichever you decide on the bottom, so if you're looking at it and you like one side better than the other, or top or bottom better than the other, then just do that one. So you're going to mark that 1/4 inch in. And then you are going to draw a line all the way down. So let's see if you can see what that looks like. I'll make the other one darker so you can see it really well. So I made this one a bit darker so you can see it's slightly angled. This one's slightly angled. And then what we're going to do is take our template for our piece B, and I'm going to give that just a little bit closer of a haircut. Now, if you're going to do a couple of these, I recommend that you get some template plastic and cut all of these out of template plastic so they are nice and accurate. Okay, we're going to mark our corner. So we're just doing the two bottom corners, so you can see that one. We're going to mark this one. So you're putting this edge even with the bottom, and then this corner is going to come up and meet that marked edge. So this is what this is going to look like. And I'm just going to cut this out. So make nice cuts. You want it to be as neat as possible. Okay, here's what our piece looks like. And then we're going to sew this to this. So you want your, so it opening, you want it to be on the left side, I believe. I'm going to grab the instructions really quick. Yeah, you want it to be on the left side. And then we are going to place this right in the center of this. And then I suggest taking, so you don't have to do a huge piece of it, but I do 2 smaller pieces of your basting tape because you want this to be really tidy. So if you put one on one end and one on the other, it keeps it in place without having to use any kind of clips or pins, which you really can't use when you're working with cork. So again, finger press these guys. We're going to take these edges off. Make sure you get your pull out of the way. Okay, and kind of line it up. And give it a press. And then we're going to sew all the way from the edge, a couple of back stitches all the way down to the end. So you can kind of see where it is. Going to move some of this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Again, whenever I'm doing bags, I always like to leave a little bit of a tail. That way it doesn't get sucked under the machine. Little back stitch. And I have a Teflon foot on my machine right now because it helps with things like cork because they can be a little bit sticky. So it helps make sure that it goes nicely. I'm going to show you. See, it's a nice stitch like that. Okay, so now we're going to attach this to the front of our wallet, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, we have the outside of our wallet, and then we have the outside pocket. So we're marking this we're going to just sew it so it's 1.25 inches down from the top. So and all of these instructions are in the are actually, you know, obviously in your pattern, so reference those. So what I like to do is I like to measure down. So So this is an 1.5 ruler, right? And we want this to be right there. So I am going to take a little bit of a chalk pencil, if I can find my chalk pencil. I want it to be white. Again, clover. So I'm just using the chalk pencil, or the chalk, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a mark. So I have some reference. Let's see where my marks are. So that way I can put this, and then that is centered. And I'm going to use my ruler to make sure I have the same distance. So we have 7/8 and 7/8. Okay, and then I just hold on to that guy. And start with your zipper partway open. And we're going to do 3/8. So hold on to this guy. And then here's where some personal preference comes in. I am going to take this to here. So about halfway. I'm going to roll this forward just a tiny bit and put that up, and then I'm going to move my zipper out of the way. Put my foot down and keep on going. See how I kind of got that? Make sure, making it nice and neat. Okay, here's where I differ. I am going to turn this around. I'm going to trim my threads off, and then I'm going to go back down the same exact line of stitching, just because we're going to use this a lot. So I'm going to make sure that I give myself plenty of room, plenty of strength, I mean. There we go. Okay, and then when I flip this over and close this, see how that's right there? And then I want to line that up. On either side. I am going to use a clip to kind of line it up with that line. Ooh, that one won't reach. Okay, we're going to have to hang on to that guy. Okay. So the instructions say that this should be about 5 inches from the bottom. So what that's doing is it's trying to give you enough room to put your coins or whatever you need to put in that without having it be too flat. So I'm going to put a couple of reference, take that off for now. A couple of reference ones in here. So that's where it's going to go. Now right here is pretty bulky. And so if I started here, I think it would be too bulky to make a nice crisp stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this around. Make sure I'm level with that. I'm going to start just a little ways away from that corner. See how I backed into it? And then I can turn this guy around. All right, trim your threads. Okay, now you have a nice little pocket right here. Okay, so that's your front pocket. And you can kind of rub off your little pieces, your little chalk marks. All right, so the next thing we are going to work on is we're going to prepare and attach the exterior zipper. So, I'm going to show you how to prepare the zipper. And then we're going to stop the video for the moment and come back and kind of talk about zippers. And then I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tricks for the Tiffany on. So we're going to do the zippers right now, and then we're going to talk about the Tiffany tips and tricks. And so that way you can, if you wanted to start working on the Tiffany, you can do that. So this is just one zipper, and it should be 18 inches when all is said and done. And what we're doing is they have you, in the instructions, they have you try and sew this. I have never had super great luck sewing those. So I find that having again, the basing tape helps a lot. So we're going to show you that. And if you have any questions, leave them for me on the So Let's Be, Amy at So Let's Be Quilty or info at soletsbequilty.com, and I will get back to you. So, so we're preparing this one. So we're going to tape the angle. So with the zipper right side up, we are going to, we are prepping the zippers for the big zipper. Okay, so we are going to use our tape, our basing tape, and we're just going to take a tiny little piece, and I am going to put it you see? So we are going to peel this off. And then we're going to bend this down to the inside like that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just makes it easier than trying to get this tiny little piece to go under your presser foot and not fly away from you. All right, so we have that end, and then we are going to talk about, so we're going to make this 18 inches, and I'm purposely going to cut that off because I want to show you how to deal with putting a zipper on without having the aid of that guy on there. Okay, so I'm going to make it a little longer. So we have this flat end right here. So we're going to open up our zipper a couple of inches, and I'm going to trim off about 1/4 of an inch on the right side if you were right-handed, on the left side if you were left-handed. I just did the left side, didn't I? Okay, let's do this again. Right side, right-handed, because I am a right-handed person. All right, so we're going to, so you have a round side of your zipper, and then you have a square flat side. So to close your zipper, it's always going to go on the round side. So I always like to put it in at kind of an angle and slide it in. And then I cut it shorter. That way, when I put this on, it's easier to keep it straight. Okay. So if we look at it like that, it looks nice and straight. I'm going to move my zipper pull so it's straight. Put my thumb and my forefinger on either side. And if all goes well, we get the zipper on. Okay, so our zipper's on. We are going to re-stick this side. Then from our edge to the 18-inch mark. Okay, and then we're going to fold under these sides just like I did the other one. They are nice and sticky. Okay, finger press. Take off one side. Fold that under. Okay, that's what we're looking like. And then we are going to take our two pieces, our two longer pieces, and these are going to end up on either end. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, guys, so you're going to take these two pieces. We are going to mark at the 1/2 inch on the back side of these guys. So we're just going to take our little ruler. Okay, so the right side of the zipper is up, and we are going to put the wrong side of the zipper right there. And then I am going to put another little piece of the basting tape on there. You do not have to do this, but I find that this is super helpful because it kind of keeps it where it needs to be. I kind of put it towards the end, so when I do my 1/4 inch seam, I'm not necessarily running over that. Okay, 1/4 inch seam. Take your time. Use your stiletto. Okay. So here's one side. We're going to do this other side. That kind of got away. Okay, 1/4 inch seam. Okay, here's what that piece looks like. Okay. So now we are going to attach the zipper to this. And if you're ready to take a break, then you can go ahead and take a break and come back to this at another time. But I'm going to stop this and then start it again if you want to take a break. And we'll come back and put the zipper in. All right, so this is the tricky part of the whole deal. So I have opened my zipper. So this is right side up, but then I flipped it. So it's right side up. Can you see right there? And then I'm flipping this under. So the raw edge is with the raw edge, right? And then the right sides are together. Super important. Right sides are together. Put a clip on that guy. And they tell you how far down for that to go. So then you have these two sides that look like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go along and I'm going to clip all the way around. Now in the directions, part of the directions are that you can clip around these corners into the zipper tape only, just so you can bend it around those corners. So you can do that. I like to dry fit everything first before I take scissors to anything, just to make sure that this is fitting the way I want it to fit before I do any adjustments for the corners. Just going around, and feel free to use lots of clips. Okay, and see how I'm coming around to my center mark. So I have the center mark here. I marked it on this side as well. And you kind of want to line up your zipper with that, so it goes like that. Then make sure you get in there with your clip. Okay, so we have one side done. We can kind of see that. And then we're going to come and do this other side. So I kind of lay it flat. And take your time, ladies and gentlemen. Don't rush this. This is the part that that makes everybody a little nervous, so we just want to take our time. So these zippers are kind of large, so I kind of open it up and flip it to the inside a little bit. See if I can get that captured. So it's kind of caught underneath there, so it won't get in your way when you're sewing this down. So you see how this one is just kind of a little bit on the tight side. So we're kind of looking at these guys. They look pretty good. I'm thinking I will give this a little bit more leeway and see if I can help that side over there by scooching this down a little bit. So I gave myself probably a 1/16 of an inch, but any little bit helps. Okay, so now we are going to do the scary part. We are going to sew this down. So we're going to start, we see on our picture, we're going to start here, and we are going to go from just where we have folded it and do one side, and then we're going to come and do the other side. So what I would suggest to you, let me see if I can find mine. So if you aren't familiar with hemostats, I have my fancy ones here. So we have a couple of tools at our disposal to help this go a little bit nicer. One of the tools is with this corner in particular that's being a little bit on the tight side. So I'm going to go in and take just tiny little, not even 1/8 of an inch. And you can already see how that has flattened that out and how much better that looks already. Okay, so we're going to do that, and we're going to come and do that same thing to this corner right here. Just tiny, 3 or 4. You don't have to go crazy. And see how those wedges kind of give you a little bit more space to get around that curve. We're going to do that to all 4 corners. And by dry fitting it before I did that, I made sure that everything was looking like I wanted it before I started cutting away. See how this one's kind of folding? Just by giving these a couple of little snips, that will help that as well. Okay. All right. So now we're going to start from right here and go all the way around, stop there, and then do the other side. So I'm going to show you what I do with these hemostats to help me when I get to those curves. All right, so we're going to come in here. We are going to use our stiletto, and we are going to place this where we want it to be. As always in bag making projects, we are going to take a few little stitches backwards. And we are going to work nice and slow. So when we get to this corner, we're going to take our hemostats and we are going to grab that corner as we go around the corner. Grabbing it helps that edge stay where we want it to stay. Also, make sure your needle is on the needle down position. And then you're going to turn. Hold on to that. So they're kind of acting as a clip that we have closer to where we're stitching. Make sure that's folded down. Get your stiletto, get right up to where that is folding over, and a few stitches back. Okay, so I will take a look at this so you can kind of see how I did. So see how I came around the corner and grabbing that, it helped smooth out those edges and give me like extra set of fingers, right? Because this is going to fold down like that eventually and become part of the inside, right? Because we're going to flip it. So you're going to do the same thing to the other side. And I think that's as far as we're going to go for the round 2 of the videos. And when we come back to the next one, we're going to work on our inside pieces. And then we're going to put it all together. So I hope that you are being successful in your journey with this Bella wallet. It's a very rewarding little wallet once you get it done. So we'll see you in the next time. And we are going to walk over and I'm going to talk about a couple of things I did differently, or I did because they were things that made me comfortable. It's not right or wrong, with the Tiffany handbag. So we're going to walk over and talk about that, or actually I'll bring them over here and we'll talk about them over here. And then if you have any questions, again, give me a holler on social media or on Facebook, or email me at the shop, and I will happily get back to you and answer your questions if I can. So let's talk about the Tiffany. Okay, we have our 2 Tiffany handbags. The Alice was the first one I did, and we're going to talk a little bit about fussy cuttings in the next video, but I kind of wanted to talk to you about these really cool strap arches that are on here. So she has a fantastic video on this. The only thing that I changed with the strap arches is, so I'm going to show you this Alice one. So this is just how the pattern was written. And it's a great little pattern. I love this bag, or I wouldn't have put it in here. But this little pocket is a little narrow. So when I made the other version, so this is the floral version. So you can see on this one that I took the strap arches and I put them up to, so between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 an inch wider. So it really didn't affect the handle, but it gave me a much wider pocket to use. You can still put pens in these guys, but that way you could put your phone in there. The other thing that I did is I, on the front, I did a stitch right where this kind of turns, you know, where this edge is, so that when I do put my wallet in or my phone in here, it's not going to sink and kind of come to the bottom of the purse. So that way, this is a super useful pocket. You can do it exactly how she has it in her tutorial and her pattern. It's perfect the way it is. These are just little changes that make my life a little easier. The other thing that I did with this purse was that we need to talk about fussy cutting for the Alice's. So we're going to talk about that in the next video. So stay tuned for that one. And I hope you're having fun making your Alice, making your Tiffany bag, your Bella wallet, and your Twice as Nice pouch.